How's it going, guys? This is Eric with Painting Business Pro, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to find good help. This is one of the biggest problems that I hear painters talking about. Painters I talk to through Painter Choice, painters I talk to through Painting Business Pro. Everywhere you look, people are complaining that they can't find good help. And I don't think that's actually the problem. I think there's a ton of good help out there. I think there's a ton of amazing people out there. And I think it's mostly a breakdown with how you're doing your hiring, how you're doing your training, how you're managing people, and all that. So I want to just take a few minutes in this video, probably be a pretty short video, just breaking down how do you find good help. And then we'll start to talk about maybe what gets in the way and why do you have so much trouble finding good help. So it's really a simple process. Basically, to hire someone, the first thing you need to do is post ads. And the thing you want to think about when you're posting ads is, what does your ideal candidate want? Like, what do they want? And what do you want? You want to make sure that in your ads you're actually, really posting for what you're looking for. If you're looking for someone long term, you're looking for a reliable person that you can build and grow with your company and all that, then say something like that in your ad. If you're looking for, someone just to get in and get something done quick, then talk about quick cash and quick money. So anyways, posting ads is the first step of the whole process. Best places to post ads that I'm aware of is on Craigslist, for painters. That's always works for us. And then also Indeed.com is another place that we've had a lot of success posting ads as of late. So Craigslist and Indeed.com post ads, and the main purpose of posting ads is just to cast a big net and find a lot of potential applicants. And then we're going to sift through those applicants, before we actually set up interviews. So post ads, get as many candidates as you can. I always like to do a couple little things, and I'll get into more details about this in other videos, but recently we were hiring for a production manager, and at the very bottom of the ad posting I just said, please email, and in your subject line put production manager application, and I put that in quotations. And anyone who didn't put production manager application in the subject line, I just disregarded right away, because that's someone who can't even follow the basic instructions. So it's a good way to just immediately weed certain people out. So usually what I do when I post ads is I typically have people email me and have them jump through a couple hoops to apply. There's more hoops, and it's more of a challenge to apply depending on the role that I'm hiring for. If I'm hiring someone to go door to door, there's not as much to that as if I'm hiring someone to manage production and so on. So that's where we always start. And then once I get all these applications into my email box, then I usually eliminate at least about half of them just from people who clearly were just applying to every job they could, or they didn't actually read my job posting and that kind of thing, or people who just don't seem to care at all. So it's usually pretty easy to eliminate about half the people who apply there. And then we do interviewing. Interviewing, the main thing we're looking for is this the right fit? So a lot of times, there's a lot of different problems that can go on in the interview, but really you just want to make sure that the person you're hiring is a good fit for the position that you're hiring for. That's all the detail I'm going to get into now, because I could talk about interviewing for a long time, but essentially you're just looking for someone who's a good fit. And so when I say that, we're looking at like the schedule. Like, is the schedule a good fit for them? If they don't like to work 10-hour days and you work 10-hour days, or if sometimes for painters, for example, sometimes we get rain 3 days a week. If it rains Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we usually need to make those days up on Saturday and Sunday. Does that work for them? Are they okay with that? Do they understand that this is kind of a weather job a little bit? So we want to make sure the schedule works. We want to talk to them about the pay. We want to make sure that they're comfortable with the pay. Are you paying hourly? Are you paying incentives? Are you paying bonuses? Like, does the pay work? If you've got a really amazing painter here in front of you who says he made $18 an hour at his last job, and you're only offering $15 an hour, I would be really hesitant to hire this guy, because I don't know if that's the right fit for him. He's taking a pay decrease. He's going to keep, even if he starts working for you, he's going to be out looking for other jobs where he makes $18 an hour. But about pay, this isn't really the video for it, but with pay, I really encourage people to pay incentives, and a lot of incentives to align incentives. So I really don't like to pay just hourly, and I don't pay anybody hourly in my business, but I would really encourage you to add incentives in so that people get paid more when they finish jobs faster, and so you're paying more per job than you are per hour. And then so schedule, pay, and then just the job itself. So if someone's applying for a painting job, I want to know that they're actually interested in painting and that they actually enjoy and want to paint. And they need to really sell me on that. And if I don't really believe listening to this person that they really genuinely want to paint, they want this job, they like the schedule, they like the pay, you know, it all works for them. They've done some of this in the past or something similar, and you know, based on where they're kind of going in the future, this is right on line with them. Like, this is just a good fit. That's what I'm looking for in the interview. Because if it's not a good fit, they're going to quit. They're just going to quit, period. Or it's not going to work out either way. So what we're really looking for in the interviews is this a good fit? And I've gone away from, you know, really grilling people as much as I used to, because if you ask people those hard questions, they're always going to give you the right answers. So training is, and these are the two places that I think most people drop the ball. You know, I think for the most part, anyone can post ads and anyone can do interviews and say, hey, you got the job. You know, but that's really the beginning. Where everything actually happens is in training and managing. And training is your responsibility. And what I mean by that is, I think most people I hear from and talk to, they just expect people to know how to do things the way they want them done. And you know, you're expecting things from people that you've never told them you're expecting of them. You know, if you haven't trained someone on how to do the painting that you want it done, there's a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds who do a lot of different procedures a lot of different ways. You know, so if you want things done a certain way, it's your job to train your employees to do that. So, you know, when you hire someone, it's your job to train them. And that means training them on everything, training them on every part of their role, exactly how to do things. It's really my job to make sure that they succeed in their job. And since I pay people with incentives, it's even more important that I train them. So let's say, for example, I hire an employee and I'm paying him $1,000 for this job. You know, I say, hey man, you're gonna make $1,000 on this job, whether you do it in 20 hours or 50 hours or 100 hours. You're making $1,000 on this job. Well, the best thing I can do for my employee is to train him so that he can figure out how to do that job in 50 hours or in 40 hours, so that he's making a really good wage. And if I can support him in training him that way and I can get him really good, he's gonna appreciate that from me, and he's gonna do his job really well. So I think a lot of people are lazy, you know, with training. Training is something I never really stopped doing, because the second someone is trained and they're really good, I give them more responsibility and start training them on that. And I give them more responsibility and start training them on that. And it's how I keep growing leaders in my business. So training is really important, and we can get into more of that in another video. Managing people and how to be a good boss. That's what this is all about. This is the other place that everyone screws up and drops the ball, is there are not many good bosses out there. And you know, I bet almost anyone watching this video can even attest to that. You've had a bad boss before. You've worked with someone who, you know, is unorganized. They don't provide you the necessary tools or materials or information you need to do your job. They don't pay you on time. They don't pay you fair, or they don't treat you well. So in short, there's just a few things that make a good boss. So we pay fair and on time. If we can do that, that's step one. Step two is we want to have this be, so we want to be like organized, and we want it to be predictable. So what that means is, you know, you're not calling your painters up, you know, the day before and saying, hey, you got to work tomorrow. Like, they know what to expect. It's a predictable job. So we want to pay them fair, pay them on time, be organized, predictable, and then we want to treat them well and fair. And this seems really obvious and easy, to pay people fair and on time, to, you know, be organized and have it be a predictable job, and to treat people well and to treat people fairly. And I just don't think these three things get done very often. And if you do these three things, you are better than 90% of other bosses out there. So there's plenty of good help out there. There's plenty of it. There's tons of it. And a lot of these guys are working for other shitty bosses. And so all you've got to do is provide a better opportunity, you know, that's a better fit for them. You know, make sure it's a good fit for them, and then you train them really well at their job so that they're competent in their role. They know what to do. They know what's expected of them. They know the process. They're trained well. And then that you manage them, that you're a good boss. So you pay them fair, you pay them on time, you're organized and predictable so they know what to expect at the job, and you treat them well and you treat them fair. You're not yelling and screaming at people, and you're taking responsibility when they screw up that you maybe didn't train them well enough. So this is the places to start, is I would just look to see, are you training your employees really well when you bring someone new on? You know, because here's the thing. Most people who are interviewing for a job, they do want a job. They're interviewing because they want and need a job. And do you think most people want to get a new job every month or every 2 months? Hell no. Like, people want to find a job that's a good fit for them, and they want to keep that job. So why would someone quit a job if they just applied, and they said, yeah, I want this job, and then they got hired? Why would they quit? Either A, it wasn't a good fit in the first place, which was you screwed up in the interview process not knowing that this wasn't a good fit for them. So it either wasn't a good fit, or B, it was a good fit, and they started the job and they weren't trained well, or their boss was an asshole, or he didn't treat them well, or they didn't get paid on time, or they got paid less than they said they would get paid, or the job was harder than they thought, which would be not a good fit. So the point is, if you hire someone who's the right fit, and then you train them well so they're competent in their role, and then you treat them really well, and you take care of them more than anyone else, then they won't leave you. You know, if you're providing a better opportunity than anybody else is, they will never leave you. Why they will leave you is if they see better opportunities other places. So the name of the game here is to treat your employees incredibly well and to treat them like gold. Just like in some of my sales videos, I talk about, you know, how you win the most sales is you do a better job taking care of the customers than anybody else does. If you care more about the customer than you do about yourself, then you'll win more jobs than anybody else. If you care about your employees succeeding and making good money and having a good life and enjoying their job, if you care about that more than you care about you, your employees will do amazing things for you, and you will have great help, and you will have a great team, and you will be able to grow your business. So this is kind of an introduction to how to find good help, how to build a good team, and I could go on for, you know, video after video after video about every one of these areas, about how to post the perfect ad, about interviewing, interviewing for different roles, training people, and how we train different roles and what our training processes are and how to manage people. So if that's something that you would be really interested in, tell me by liking this video or by putting a comment below and telling me what you want to learn more of. Because this is really the name of the game of if you want to grow a business, you have to learn how to build and develop a really good team if you want to grow your business. So let me know, and also if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I got a ton of other videos and I'm going to keep more videos coming. And also, there's a lot of information I send out to my emails through my email list. And so visit my website, paintingbusinesspro.com, and subscribe to those emails. And I'll send you a bunch of information that I only send out through emails. So check all that stuff out. Let me know what you think of the video, and I'll see you again soon.